So yeah, those two books I find really interesting, and the Reality is Plastic I found fascinating because it kind of puts hypnosis on a spectrum.
Right.
That with stage hypnosis specifically, you have some people that are sort of like going along with the action. You know, they're hearing hypnosis and they're kind of like doing improv. And then there's sort of like a middle ground where you're sort of in like a dream and things make sense when you're on stage and you know where you are and you're in this sort of consensus reality. But you have this feeling where you're like, yeah, no, I am afraid of this water bottle. And then there's another version of like full on hypnotherapy where you're not really in your conscious mind in any capacity.
Yeah,
and,
fully.
And those people come out of it and they say, I have no idea what happened.
They also have physical sensations are created by their mind, which is like the Matrix type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
where they've shown people where they're completely hypnotized and you'll touch them with an ice cube and they'll get a burn mark. They'll have a physical burn, which seems impossible because their mind creates, it's like, you know, it's like in the Matrix when he goes, well, what if happens if you die in the Matrix? The body cannot live without the mind. And they'll get a burn because they think that they're being burned with a hot poker with an ice cube.
And it will physically show up, or will be the
I've
sensation?
seen that. I mean, I haven't seen it in person. I've seen some of the funniest things, some of the funniest shows I've ever seen in my life, even blow-away stand-up comedy, are really good hypnotists.
Yeah.
I think I was 17 and I went to Windsor. I lived outside of Metro Detroit.
Yeah.
And this is a hypnotist that I knew. It was like an X-rated show. They let me in. And he had a guy on stage. I'll never forget this as long as I live. I was in the front row. The guy on stage is wearing like khakis and he's very buttoned up, you know, like a corporate guy. And you did not expect this from him. And he had balloons next to him and he kept saying, you're pregnant. And he kept giving him different balloons to put in it. And he'd go, oh, touch my baby. And he pretended to be like a pregnant woman. And then it kept going until he had this. And then he gave him bigger balloons. And he kept, you know, they have people in line and they do different bits with everybody. And they keep coming back to each guy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
And so they come back to this one guy and he's finally, oh, the baby's coming. Are you ready? And they put his legs up and this guy, I'm in the front row and this is my buddy doing it. He goes, push, push. And I heard this shit his pants.
Oh, wow.
That's good.
I'll never forget it as long as I live. And I see my buddy's face. And we both, I'm not close enough to smell it, but I can definitely see there's like, the pants look full, you know what I'm saying? And this is pre-cell phone, man. I'm like 42. And so I didn't even have a cell phone then. I asked him after the show, like a day or two later, and he's like, yo, man, that guy stayed after. And he was really mad. And he goes, why? He didn't remember anything. He goes, why did I shit my pants? One of the single, top 5 funniest things I've ever seen in person in my entire life. I'll just never.
Yeah, the hypnotism shows are incredible.
And there's just the noise, like a wet, like a grown man pushing on stage.
Why do you think that's not a bigger art form?
I don't know why. Because the people that do it really, really well kill it. I have a buddy, Chris Jones. Shout out to my buddy in Chicago, who's incredible, fellow runner. We were on America's Got Talent together. He did a thing where he shook Howie Mandel's hand. Do you ever see that? And Howie Mandel's a notorious germaphobe.
Yeah.
And he hypnotized him. I think he had gloves on. So he started shaking everybody's hands. Never done it before. He kind of looks like Drake. He's gonna love this plug, but he's awesome. there's so many hypnotists I've seen.
Oh, he hypnotized Howie so he
thinking he
could
had
shake
gloves
his
on.
hand.
That was his claim to fame.
Yeah.
Like he blew up. It went so viral
how
10
crazy
years
is
ago.
that?
Fuck.
Because Howie won't shake anyone's hand. He'll fist bump.
Yeah.
And it's like ingrained. I mean, it's
Yeah.
a phobia.
Yeah.
This is it.
It's like a
affects
big
Why
his
does he
life.
think that the germs can't get on the outside?
I don't have an answer to that question. That's like, I'll never forget when during COVID
you don't
we had to
eat-
stand
you use
6
the
feet
palms
apart,
to-
but at the bank line we'd be 2 feet apart. And I'm like, thank God the disease can't. Thank God it can't go horizontal. I don't know the logic. I guess because you don't touch stuff with the back of your hand.
Yeah.
Do you know the function of the disruption of a pattern? So like with a lot of hypnotism, it'll be like a handshake.
Yep.
And then a snap.
Yep.
And now you're asleep.
Yeah.
And what is that? And
Yo, if you just put him asleep right now, that would be incredible.
I know.
Oh my God. Tell us all the tricks.
Open my eyes. I'm like,
Wait, you're saying go.
But do you know what is happening there on a
I
hypnotic
wish
level?
I'm not nearly
Yeah, I know this
attuned
is-
enough to
this is
hypnosis.
your
Not like
thing.
my field of specialty.
He's
versus I
just
could
so
have people-
excited to
I have
have
friends that
anyone on,
know
like-
this that could like go into major depth on this subject because
Yeah.
they know what it does and what it does. Some of it actually affects your brain. There's actually a jarring level of you move and that there's a force to it. The quick induction techniques like that. Mm-hmm. But I think some of it's fake.
Really?
Some of the videos on the gram, yes.
Really?
Yeah. Who does it? You have an incentive structure that's aligned where let's go viral together. Some of it's real, but I've seen some where you almost want them to open their eye and go like give a little wink,
Right,
you know?
right.
But most of it's real. When the incentive structure is not aligned, right? When
That's
somebody's
when
on
you believe
stage
it. And they
shitting
desperately
their pants,
Yeah, exactly.
typically not.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a negative reaction specifically on a cultural level?
I've had things go wrong on cultural levels. I've had things where
Why you guys all looked at Brandon for?
Conversation.
Like, have you ever done a trick for like a Caribbean person, like a West
So-
African person that has voodoo in the culture, and
I've not done
they're
that, but I
angry?
used to do a lot of stuff for the mafia. So I did a lot of I went
that's
to a lot of
crazy.
mafia-owned restaurants
Yeah.
when I moved to New York City. When I moved to New York City,
Yeah.
I still worked at restaurants. I worked on Wall Street for about 2.5 years, and then I was doing this as a side hustle.
Yeah.
And so I worked restaurants to give out business cards and to get parties, but to meet. And a lot of the top Italian joints they were mafia owned, they were mafia run. So I would do parties when the guys would get out. It was straight Sopranos, like straight up, like guys get out and they have a party there.
They
close
believe
down
all
the
this
shop.
shit, though, dude.
Some of them do, but some of them don't like the challenge. So
Yeah.
right there, there's a dick measuring competition
Right.
where you know something I don't know right now.
Yeah.
And he
Right.
goes,
And
show
you
me
made
how
me
you
look
did that.
stupid.
Exactly. There's as if
Yeah,
I'm
that's
challenging.
what I
It's
would think.
exactly that. As if I just made you look stupid,
Yeah.
and I need to show my authority over you.
And did you have?
I've never had altercations. I had a buddy who actually had a switchblade pulled out and he has a ponytail and it was brought back and they said, if you don't tell me how you did that, I'm gonna cut off your ponytail. Which is a crazy story. Mine, I'm always able to get out of it because of humor. Like
Yeah.
I can rib, I can roast, I can self-deprecate and find a way out of it and misdirect. It's if you try to take it head on, you're going to lose that battle.
Yeah.
If you can make people move in a pattern and see what is at the core that they want to not be made to look bad. They want to feel like they're part of it. And I go,
Yeah.
you know what? You know how to do this stuff. Let me show you something right now. And I go, oh, you can diffuse it by saying, I know that you get it. You totally know how this is done. Let me show you how a different one's done. Come here, let me show you. So
Yeah.
you like take them out, but you don't
Bring
show
them on
that
the
one.
inside.
You show them something stupid, and then they feel like they're good. And they're like, that was amazing, right? You didn't kill me. I'm very happy.